Hello, this is James. I have a quick little deck for everybody today, and it is Aromages reinforced with the power of the sun. So we're using our Aromages, which we know and love, Jasmine, who draws cards, Rogue's Lover, Banish, and we can special summon one plant type monster, Big Burga doing the damage, and Aromage Rosemary that has an effect to change the opponent's battle position of the monster, and also an underrated effect that blocks monster effects until the end of the damage step, but only if your life points are higher. If a plant type monster you control attacks, your opponent cannot activate all monster effects until the end of the damage step. And with these cards, we are using Super Solar Nutrient. Activate this card by attributing one level 2 or lower plant type monster. Special summon one plant type from your hand or deck whose level is less than or equal to the level of attributed monster had on the field, +3. So we are going to use this on either our Jasmine or our Rose Lover to get a special summon of our Rosemary. And this might not seem like a big deal, but the slowest part about Aromages is getting Rose Lover into the graveyard for the big Bergamot play. And this speeds it up by giving us Rose Lover in the graveyard, gives us our very underrated Rosemary onto the field, and if we feel like it, we also have some Storm fodder. We're playing Aromages, so of course we have our Aroma Gardens and our Ultimate Providence. Ultimate Providence is like mandatory now, what with all the Sylvans and the Hazies. If you draw your Ultimate Providence and you can block their effect monster, you have a good shot at winning that particular match. And with this, I am using the Balance skill. Balance, there's a whole bunch of math that's complicated, but basically if you have 6 of one type of card, monster, spell, or trap, if you have at least 6, you are guaranteed one of those cards, one of those types of cards in your opening hand. So we have 11 monsters, 11. So we're going to have at least one monster for sure, and at least one of our spells. And I'd be pretty happy to see any of these spells, well, except maybe Storm. But only 16% of the time will we be seeing Storm. The reason I have a Storm instead of a third Super Solar is because Super Solar Nutrient can get kind of bricky. You play your Jasmine, or more optimally your Rose Lover, and then you tribute it with Super Solar and you get your Rosemary. You cannot get Big Bergamot this way, but you can get your Rosemary. And then the reason we're using Balance is, again, it gets you at least one of your spells, and I like it better than Restart, because Restart is more for cards that you don't want in your hand. Like in your Volcanic Destruction deck, you don't want your one Blaze Accelerator in your hand, so you Restart to put it back into the deck. Balance is more for cards that you do want in your hand, and we do want one of our precious spells. Right. So it's a fast, quick little beater deck. I was testing it for use in the KC Cup, and it's not quite consistent enough for that, but it is fun. So let's look at our replays. The first one. So this is in ranked PvP in the King of Games section. It's not in the KC Cup, but I checked this deck afterwards, and it's a legit like 3 Saphira full Cyber Angel deck, and is a legitimate test target. So he activates Balance, we activate Balance because he's playing Cyber Angels. We start off with our Ultimate Providence, our little Jasmine, and our Aroma Garden. And don't be afraid to play Jasmine in attack position, because that extra card is worth it. And then I never realized how many effect monsters there were until we started playing all these Ultimate Providences. and we just go ahead and we get to negate that. We get to negate that Gishki chain and destroy it. And so here we're going to Super Solar into the... Now, I misplay. Because when you Super Solar, you can special summon a monster that's either in your hand or in your deck. So if you have a Rosemary in your hand, and you want obviously you want to pull the one from your deck, make sure you scroll over and pull the one that has the deck icon, because we could have gone for lethal this turn. But we're going to get a good amount of damage, and he's going to activate Senju, and Senju is going to give him Saphira, and he's going to Hymn of Light Ben 10 for the Saphira. Ben 10 gives him Cyber Petite, and then Senju's going to attack the Jasmine because that draws us cards. That he wants to get rid of that, but Aroma Garden activates Rosemary, switching Saphira to defense position, buying us a turn, and then he very wisely draw 2, discard, and then now he has a Machine Angel Ritual and a Hymn of Light in the grave, so that's 2 protections for his Saphira. But we have our Rose Lover in the grave all ready for our Big Burga, and then we're going to gain our life points, and we're going to attack for piercing. Rosemary, strong card. Here we're playing against Odeon, and this Odeon is playing the trap monsters, the tiki statues. Yeah, like the ones that are making the big face. We're going second, which is always good for beater decks. So we have our Providence, we have our Nutrient, we have our Rose Lover, and we have our 2 Jasmines. We're going to morph Rose Lover into a Rosemary, and then we're going to Ultimate Providence this Man-Eater Bug. We're going to discard our Jasmine. And don't be afraid to discard, if you want your monster, don't keep your monster in hand and let them get their effect off. Like blocking the opponent's chain of combos is more valuable than, or killing their tempo is more valuable than just random monsters. And then so here we're going to play Jasmine face down, and then we're going to Rosemary special summon our Rose Lover special summon our Rosemary. Now, Tiki Curse, if another trap card that is an effect monster battles an opponent's monster after damage calculation, destroy that opponent's monster. I mean, we could just destroy it first with the Rosemary, but we can just go for Tiki Soul first, because Rosemary's monster effect blocking effect prevents that from happening. So he's going to go for the double Cyclone onto his own Paleozoic monster and destroy the Solar Nutrient, and that destroys our Rosemary. But we're able to tribute for Big Burga, and that's our win. It's all speeded up by Super Solar. You don't need to tribute take. You can instead special tribute off your Rose Lover and get out your Rosemary and get to work very quickly. And with Jasmine, you can draw extra cards and get extra normal summons by keeping your life points high. You get extra normal summons and make Super Solar Nutrient that much more valuable. Here's going to activate Mythic Depths to our balance. We have Super Solar, Jasmine, Garden, and Bergamot. And then here's a fish deck. And he's gonna so I passed the turn because I know it's a fish deck, and I didn't want him to destroy all my stuff, because I wouldn't be able to attack on turn 1. So I just had to hope that he wouldn't be able to kill me on turn 2, and I was correct. And so we're going to go Aroma Garden. We're not going to get all the cool Aromage effects, because our life points are low, and also because Jasmine just got floodgated. But Super Solar works on face-down plants. So we're going to get Aroma Garden. Rosemary's going to change to defense position. And I didn't see any delays, so I'm not worried about Wall of D. We get our second Rosemary, Jasmine. He gets his second Floodgate. We do some position swapping, trying to gain the life points so that we can get the Pierce on the Big Burga. We're going to put Rosemary's effect onto herself because we have more than enough damage from Big Bergamot. But now again, since Mako has more life points than we do not get the Pierce. Here he has Swamp Mirror, and then he's going to Powerful Rebirth, his Oyster Meister, and then here's the Golden Flying Fish, but we have our Ultimate Providence, unfortunately for him. And so that's pretty much the end of the game right there, because we can clear up his field, and he has no more Golden Flying Fish tribute fodder. So here's one against My Valentine, and she's playing. People love the Beast Rising Hazy on My Valentine. Going second again. Yeah, Aroma Strategy. 23 card deck. So these last 4 are in the KC Cup. We open with our Solar and our Rose Lover and our Bergamot. So that's, see, this is the good combo. So we can get our Rose Lover and then Solar Nutrient, and then banish the Rose Lover for a monster in our hand. So that's what we're going to do here. We play our Aroma Garden, and then I went for Jasmine instead of Rosemary because I'm getting a little greedy. So with Solar Nutrient, you contribute either your Jasmine or your Rose Lover, and then you can get any of your Jasmine, Rose Lover, or Rosemary. And so we're going for lethal damage here, but he activates Forbidden Dress, and it loses. My Bergamot loses 600 attack points, but I don't think we would have been able to kill him this turn. Adds the Cerberus, and then Jasmine gets in her attack, and that's her victory. So that's the ideal combo. You have Rosemary and one of your big plants and Solar Nutrient, and then you can morph Rosemary into a one of your level 4 or one of your appropriately leveled plant monsters, and then banish her for the big plant that's in your hand. Here's a final replay against Seto Kaiba. Another tip is with the Sylvans. So what I was doing before is I would get the Rosemary or the Bergamot, and I would have my boosted Bergamot, and then I would just go ahead and attack into the flip monster, even if I had Ultimate Providence already set. But that's not a good move, because what I'm thinking is, my thought was that if Rosemary or if Bergamot could do the Bergamot could do a bunch of piercing damage through the Magical Merchant, and then you swing for game with your second monster that's also boosted by Aroma Garden. But frequently it's not a Magical Merchant, frequently it's a Co-Mushrumo. So always wait on your Divine Providence. We're going to zap the Co-Mushrumo. And then he's got his backup, he's got his Martial Leaf. And Martial Leaf is going to get Junk and a Rose Lover, his own Rose Lover. Rose Lover is going to special summon the Hermitry. Hermitry is not going to get much going, but he does get the Carrot Weight Champion. But here, see, with even though I got greedy and draw 2 cards with Aromage Jasmine, Bergamot is still bigger than Hermitry, just with the inherent boost from Aroma Garden, even without Bergamot's extra 1,000 attack when you gain life points while she herself is on the field. So Bergamot's still protected from the Hermitry. And we're gonna boost, and we're gonna kill the tree. We're not gonna go for the double boost because I don't want to get too greedy, because he might have more Co-Mushrumos. See, that would be more Co-Mushrumos. Hermitry, Rose Lover, and Carrot Weight Champion. No Martial Leaves, but I wouldn't have been able to beat him this turn, but he presents his defenseless Carrot Man's 0 defense and shortly surrenders. So that's just a quick little deck using Aromages boosted by the power of the sun. Thank you for watching.